Welcome to today's video, my friends. If you love coins, history, and hidden treasures that can turn pocket change into something truly extraordinary, then you are in for a treat. Because today we are exploring one of America's most iconic coins, the Washington Quarter Dollar, specifically the 1989 quarter minted in Philadelphia with the P Mint mark. At first glance, it might seem like just another everyday coin, but once we dive deeper, you'll realize this little piece of metal carries with it a world of history, beauty, and value that most people never even imagined. Let's begin with the story behind the Washington Quarter. This coin first appeared in 1932, during the Great Depression, at a time when the United States wanted to honor George Washington on his 200th birth anniversary. Designed by John Flanagan, the quarter instantly became part of daily life, and since then, the design has gone through changes, but that familiar portrait of Washington has remained the heart of the series for decades. Now, let's shift to the year 1989. America was witnessing the closing years of the Cold War, a period of transformation not only in politics and technology but also in culture and everyday life. During this year, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of Washington quarters. To the average person, this was just ordinary money used to buy soda from vending machines, to park a car, or to grab a snack. But to collectors like you and me, the 1989 P Washington Quarter holds mysteries worth uncovering. On the obverse side of the coin, you'll see that timeless left-facing portrait of George Washington. The word Liberty arches above his head, while the national motto, "In God We Trust," is inscribed just beside him. The date 1989 rests at the bottom, a simple reminder of when this coin entered circulation. And right next to Washington's ponytail, a small but important letter appears, the letter P, representing the Philadelphia Mint. Turn the coin over and the story continues on the reverse side. Here we see a bold, powerful bald eagle with its wings stretched wide, standing on a bundle of arrows, with an olive branch resting peacefully below. This design, used for many decades, symbolizes both America's strength and its pursuit of peace. For generations of Americans, this eagle was not just a design on metal, it was a symbol of their country's values carried in every pocket and purse. Now comes the fascinating part: how can such a common coin hold extraordinary value? After all, the Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of these quarters in 1989. Surely, they are not rare, or are they? This is where condition and rarity come into play. For coin collectors, not all coins are created equal. Imagine two quarters from 1989, one has been passed around endlessly, scratched, worn, and faded after decades of use. The other has been preserved in pristine condition, untouched, gleaming as if it had just been struck yesterday. Both are the same coin, yet their values could not be further apart. Coins in everyday worn condition are worth their face value of 25 cents. But coins in mint state, graded by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC, can be worth far more, especially if they are graded MS67, MS68, or even higher. Each grade represents not just condition but rarity, because very few coins survive in such flawless states. Collectors and investors compete fiercely to own the finest known examples of these coins, and then we come to something even more exciting: mint errors. Sometimes, during the striking process, mistakes occur. These can be double dies, where the design is impressed twice, off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned, clipped planchets, where part of the coin's edge is missing, or other unusual manufacturing errors. Each of these errors transforms an ordinary coin into a one-of-a-kind treasure. For a collector, finding a 1989 P quarter with a dramatic error can be like striking gold. Think about it for a moment. Millions of these coins flowed through the hands of Americans in 1989, used in parking meters, payphones, bus rides, groceries, and gas stations. Most of them were spent and worn down, forgotten in drawers or lost under couch cushions. But a handful managed to escape the wear of circulation. They were set aside by sharp-eyed collectors, preserved by accident, or saved simply because they looked new. Decades later, those untouched survivors now shine as rare jewels in the coin collecting world. For collectors, the thrill lies in the hunt. You might check your pocket change and find nothing out of the ordinary. But every once in a while, someone discovers a coin that turns out to be worth far more than they ever imagined. And the 1989 Washington Quarter has proven time and again that it belongs to this special category of surprises. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks like every other quarter, yet when placed under the careful eye of a grader, it reveals perfection. No scratches, no marks, brilliant luster, sharp details, the kind of coin that makes seasoned collectors' hearts race. When such a coin goes to auction, the results can be shocking. While the average 1989 quarter is worth only 25 cents, the finest known examples in the highest grades have fetched astounding amounts. And in one remarkable case, a 1989 Washington Quarter sold for the unbelievable sum of $50,000. Today, we are going to explore one of the most legendary coins in American history, a coin that has fascinated collectors for nearly 5 decades. This is the story of the United States of America Washington Quarter dollar from the year 1976, a coin that may look ordinary at first glance, but in reality, it carries a history of pride, design, rarity, and sometimes, unbelievable value. So sit back, grab a cup of coffee, and stay with me until the very end, because you'll be amazed to discover how a simple 25-cent piece can reach values that would change anyone's life. Let's begin with the history. The year was 1976. It wasn't just another year in America. It was the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, a milestone that every citizen was proud of. Across the nation, towns prepared for parades, fireworks lit up the skies, and patriotic songs filled the air. It was called the American Bicentennial, and it was more than just a celebration. It was a moment of reflection, 2 centuries of struggle, progress, and identity. Now, the U.S. Mint, which had always played a role in shaping national pride through coinage, decided to do something historic. For the first time in modern history, circulating coins would feature special commemorative designs to honor this bicentennial. This applied to the quarter, the half-dollar, and the dollar coin. The quarter was chosen to carry one of the most memorable designs in American numismatics. The front still displayed George Washington's portrait, just as it had since 1932. But flip the coin to the reverse, and there you find something completely different, the bold image of a colonial drummer, beating his drum to the rhythm of freedom. Next to the drummer stands a victory torch, surrounded by 13 stars representing the original 13 colonies. Together, they create a design that screams patriotism and captures the essence of America's independence. Millions of Americans fell in love with the coin, and many saved them as souvenirs, placing them in jars, boxes, and collections. But here's the truth: while millions were minted, only a very small number have survived in extraordinary condition or with unique characteristics that make them treasures today. Let's dive into the types. First, the circulation strikes. These were minted in both Philadelphia and Denver and were meant for everyday use. Most of these have been spent, scratched, and worn down after decades of circulation. But if you find one in mint condition, untouched, shining, with no marks or wear, its value immediately rises. Second, the silver issues. The mint produced special bicentennial sets that included quarters struck in 40% silver. These were marketed to collectors, and while many still exist, the challenge is finding them in flawless, unblemished condition. Silver bicentennial quarters already carry a premium simply for their metal content, but in perfect graded states, they can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Third, the proof coins. These were struck in San Francisco with mirror-like fields and frosted details. Proofs are among the most beautiful examples of coinage, made specifically for collectors. Some proofs are clad, while others are silver. When these proofs are graded at the absolute top, proof 69 or proof 70, they can reach astonishing values. And then, we have the error coins, the wild cards of the coin world. Some bicentennial quarters were struck on the wrong planchets, such as on dime-sized or half-dollar-sized blanks. Others display double strikes, off-center images, or missing details. These mistakes are incredibly rare, and when collectors find them, the value can skyrocket because no 2 error coins are exactly the same, but rarity alone doesn't explain the highest values. That's where grading comes in. The world of coin collecting condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin in poor condition, worn almost smooth, might be worth little more than face value. But as you climb higher on the scale, uncirculated, mint state, proof, the value multiplies. Mint state 65, 67, 68, each jump represents a coin that is sharper, cleaner, more perfect. At the very top sits proof 70 or mint state 70, a grade that means the coin is flawless under magnification. Think about it. Out of the millions of bicentennial quarters produced, only a tiny fraction survive in these highest grades. Those few become the holy grails of the collecting world. Now, let's talk about the collector mindset. Why would someone pay thousands, or even tens of thousands, for a quarter? For many collectors, it's about owning a piece of history. It's about holding in their hands not just a coin, but a symbol of freedom, patriotism, and celebration. For others, it's about rarity, the thrill of having something that very few people on Earth can claim to own. And for investors, rare coins are a way to preserve and even grow wealth, since their value often rises with time. There are stories of collectors who discovered rare bicentennial quarters tucked away in their childhood collections. Imagine finding an old proof set in your drawer, sending it for grading, and realizing you're holding one of the finest known examples in existence. Suddenly, that forgotten coin becomes a ticket to financial freedom. Auction houses have seen some of these spectacular coins cross the block. Bidding wars ignite as collectors fight for the privilege of adding such a treasure to their collection. The prices climb higher and higher, leaving audiences stunned at how valuable a single quarter can become. And now, after this journey through history, design, rarity, and collector passion, we reach the climax of our story. The question you've been waiting for: what is the highest value ever recorded for a 1976 Washington quarter dollar? The answer will leave you in awe. Among the rarest examples, in the most pristine and exceptional condition, the Washington quarter dollar of 1976 has been sold for an astonishing $70,000. So the next time you hold a bicentennial quarter, don't just think of it as pocket change. Think of it as a piece of American history, a celebration of freedom, and maybe, just maybe, a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Today, we are diving into the fascinating world of American coins, and our focus will be on one of the most talked about quarters from modern times, the Washington quarter dollar minted in 1998 at the Denver Mint, also known as the 1998 D quarter. Now, at first, it may look like just another quarter. You've probably seen dozens of them lying around in your loose change, maybe in a jar, or perhaps they've been sitting in your wallet without you ever paying much attention. But what if I told you that a single example of this very coin has been valued at an astonishing amount of money? Stay with me until the very end, because the number will surprise you. Let's begin with the story. The Washington quarter was first introduced back in 1932. That year marked the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, and the United States wanted to honor its very first president with a coin that would circulate widely across the nation. The design chosen was by John Flanagan, featuring a bold and noble portrait of George Washington on the obverse, and on the reverse, a powerful American eagle with outstretched wings. For more than 60 years, this design became a familiar part of everyday American life. But by the late 1990s, something exciting was on the horizon. In 1999, the U.S. Mint was about to launch one of the most ambitious coin programs ever, the 50-state quarters program. This meant that the Washington quarter design, which Americans had known for generations, was coming to an end. And that's where the 1998 issues become so special. They are the last of the traditional eagleback quarters before the change. Now, let's zoom in on the 1998 D coin specifically. The D stands for the Denver Mint, one of the main facilities where U.S. coins are produced. On the obverse, just beneath George Washington's portrait, you can spot the mint mark. It's a small letter, but it tells a big story about where that coin was made. In terms of numbers, millions of 1998 D quarters were struck, so naturally, most people think they are common. And yes, in circulated condition, the type you find in pocket change, these coins generally hold just face value. But here's the twist: not every coin is equal. Collectors are obsessed with perfection, rarity, and unique qualities. coins that are struck sharply, with full details, and that have survived without scratches, wear, or blemishes are graded much higher than ordinary ones. Grading agencies like PCGS and NGC evaluate coins on a 70-point scale, with mint state 67, 68, and 69 being considered extraordinary. A 1998 D quarter that reaches these elite grades becomes extremely desirable among collectors, but condition is not the only factor. Sometimes, rare errors occur during the minting process. Double strikes, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or unusual die variations can all increase the rarity of a coin. Collectors love these oddities because they are mistakes that slipped past quality control and entered circulation. So when we talk about the 1998 D quarter, we are not just talking about a coin, we are talking about history, artistry, condition, rarity, and even chance. All of these factors combine to determine how valuable a coin can become. Now let's imagine you're sifting through your change and you see a shiny quarter. You notice it's from 1998, and then your eyes catch that small letter D. At first, you think it's nothing special. But what if that coin happens to be in pristine condition, untouched by time? Or what if it has a rare error that makes it unlike almost any other? Suddenly, your simple 25 cents could be worth a fortune. This is why collectors all over the world are fascinated by coins like the 1998 D quarter. They represent the possibility that treasure could be hiding in plain sight, and now, the moment you've been waiting for. Among the many Washington quarters from 1998, one special 1998 D has stunned collectors with its remarkable condition and rarity. At auction, it reached an unbelievable value of $45,000, yes, you heard that right. A coin that started as just 25 cents in your pocket change, a coin most people overlook without a second thought, has been valued at $45,000 in the collector's market. This is why it pays to check your coins carefully. Because behind the ordinary surface, there may be extraordinary value. So the next time you see a Washington quarter from 1998 with the Denver Mint mark, don't ignore it. Take a closer look. Who knows? You might just be holding the next hidden treasure worth a life-changing sum of money. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the world of the Washington quarter. If you enjoyed this deep dive into numismatic history and rare coin values, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Until next time, keep your eyes on your change, because treasures are out there waiting to be discovered.